Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Sharita, the behavior and literacy strategist, in here jamming to Jasmine. Boy, oh boy, I was in here jamming. I'm at the park. I have an appointment coming in a few, but today was so beautiful I decided to get out and do my consultation right in the car. Okay, it's a good one. I got a good one for y'all. Come on in here and say good morning. Good morning to y'all. I'm in Jersey. Okay, I know some of my moms in the program, my students are from all over the place, from Dallas, Texas, from Alabama, from North Carolina, from New York, representing New York, right? New Jersey with me, right? Washington, D.C., Illinois, all over the place. Hello, Brittany. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That's right, girl. Come on in here and say good morning. I got a good one for you today. A good one, okay? And I need to talk about this because I'm talking to, during my consultations, I'm meeting a lot of moms who have a big fear. They talk to their child's teacher, and their child's teacher is telling them that they need to repeat a grade this year. And I wanted to hear from moms out there, if you're having the same kind of conversation, how that feels to hear that, you know, your baby hasn't met the requirements to go on to the next grade. Okay, here we were having they were having a pandemic education. A lot of kids, Brittany, my daughter has been doing virtual schooling since the beginning of the year. She didn't do hybrid. And they just got the hybrid going, but plenty of times they sent us an email and called us and said, you know, we're going to open up the school so your child can start school again on Tuesday. And then we get an email right before it happens to say we're in a red zone, so we're not going to do it. We'll try again next month, that kind of thing, right? So my daughter's been home the whole entire this whole entire year. She's been doing virtual learning, and we've been keeping it that way. But there's been a lot of problems with virtual learning for kids. Now, first, in order to understand this, we need to think about the classroom, how kids were learning in the classroom. If your child was in the classroom and they were struggling with keeping up academically, they were reading below grade level, if they weren't doing all their classwork or homework assignments, or it took a lot or hours to get them to do their homework, right? If you were experiencing this and they were very unfocused when it was time for them to work in school and also at home, if you were already having these problems, when they had to do virtual learning, that just made it worse, right? Because now there's less structure, and kids who are struggling academically, reading below grade level, they're falling behind as far as their literacy is concerned, as far as their reading, writing, reading comprehension, spelling. If they've fallen behind and they have behaviors that are getting in the way of their academic progress, they need structure most of all. Okay, that's why we put a structure in place. We put a behavior modification system in place, and we focus on growth. But they need that. You understand what I'm saying, Brittany? They need that. So when they get less structure, it's even worse. Okay, it's more difficult for the teachers to reach them. It's more difficult for them to feel like they'll have any consequences for not participating, at least in school. If they're not doing their work and they want to go outside and play during recess, or if they, you know, when I was in the classroom, I used to keep my kids in for lunch. If they owe me work, you're not gonna be out there running around playing. and I don't have my assignments, okay? You're gonna be in the classroom eating lunch with me and doing my work, okay? So this is even harder to reach kids and keep them on track when they're at home. So if they're already struggling academically, and they're already struggling with focus and behavior, and already struggling with completing their assignments, and need a lot of one-on-one attention, couldn't function independently in the classroom, now their work, what did they learn? How did they grow during this year? Okay, That's the huge question. So the teachers still have, to test them and assess to see if they're ready for the next grade. The teachers still have to do that. So at the end, even though it was a pandemic, even though the kids were engaged in virtual learning, even though they didn't get that one-on-one attention that they needed, even though they never learned how to function independently, even though they had issues with reading and function on grade level already, all that stuff is factored in. But the question is, in September, or for some of my students in August, right, will they be able to keep up in their current grade? That's the question. Will they be able to function in the next grade? Okay, so we can say, yeah, they shouldn't be held back because of the pandemic and because of all these problems. Yes, that's part of it. But do you want your child to go on to the next grade and then for them to struggle even more because they didn't get what they needed and didn't master certain things during this school year? That's the question to ask yourself. And for me, as a mom and as a coach, I would want my child to be equipped to function in the next grade. And as a coach, that's my focus for my students anyway. I run my coaching program much like a classroom, and I even tell my students, act like we are in the classroom and I'm right in front of you. I told one of my students when he was trying to act up on the other side of the screen, I said, pretend that I'm sitting right next to you at that table. And he said, no, this is not time to lay down. You have to sit up, because when you're in the classroom, you're going to need to sit in the chair. You need to focus. You need to keep on track, stay on track. You need to keep up with me. When I move on, you better be ready to move on. You better come to class prepared with your notebook and your pencil ready. Okay. Don't tell me my mom didn't tell me where my pencil was, or or my mom didn't tell me what time it was. You need to know what time it is. All right. So this is what the message I want to send to moms is that we need to have high expectations for our kids, even if they are, even with the current situation. We still need to have high expectations for our kids. We need to make sure that they understand that just because they are home and they are maybe sitting on their beds, it does not mean it's time to play around. That they have to sit up and they have to still show up like a champion and still work and do what they need to do. Now, if your child is, if you had that dreadful conversation with your child's teacher that they will need to repeat a grade due to them not meeting the standards, right? It's time to get to work. It's time to get to work. But first, you need to assess what your child is missing. What are they missing that lets the teacher know they're not ready for the next grade? I'm teaching one student with this particular situation, and I met with the teacher because that's part of my program. I meet with the teachers once a month. Okay, and I met with the teacher and I asked the teacher, what does my student need so that you can feel that he's equipped for the first grade? Because he's in kindergarten and he's in danger of repeating. What do you feel he needs? If he accomplished these things, you would feel like satisfied that he not only is as ready, he's met the minimum, but he'll be okay, he'll be equipped to function independently in the first grade. What is it that you need? Have these questions with your child's teacher. Okay? Find out specifically what standards they didn't meet, what they are not able to do right now in the moment that's causing you to have that conversation, and they're going to be staying back. Ask them those questions, and when you find out, write it down and then develop a plan so that whatever your child is missing, your child will get. Whatever your child has not mastered, your child will master, right? Whatever behaviors your teacher has been seeing during school that's disruptive to not only your child's learning, but also the learning of the other kids in the classroom that needs to be addressed. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. And I was talking to my student about this last night, because, you know, he moves around a lot, plays around, touching everything, falling all out the chair, the teacher was telling me in class, right? Right? So we were working on him sitting still and not touching anything. And when I got him focused enough and he was controlling himself, I told him, I said, say, I can control my own self, okay? Because we need to work on how he's thinking. So he's used to adults coming and touch and taking things from him and sitting him straight and all. No, you can control your own self. And when he was sitting there, we started to go through the literacy lessons that I had for him, and we were working on it. I was coaching him, and he was more successful. And I said, see, when you are sitting still and not touching anything, that's when all your smarts come out. That's when all your smarts come out. The students, my students, our kids need to understand this. The link between behavior, lack of focus, trying to get out of doing things, right, in school, and not really listening when you tell them to do something. All of that is linked to their academic performance and their academic ability. A lot of our kids are smart, but they can't read. They're smart, but they can't spell. They're smart, but they can't write. And it's not because they haven't seen the information. It's not because they haven't been taught the information, but it's because their behavior and their lack of focus is getting in the way of them doing their best. They have to be actively learning and contributing and growing in the moment. And when you have behavior and I'm focused on playing around and I don't want to listen, and let me see, every time they tell me to do something, I'm going to ask a question, or I'm going to do something else. When you have all that going on, there's no way for a child, there's no way for them to learn at their best and then do their best, okay? So if he's making mistakes when I'm teaching him, when I'm coaching him, and he's not focused, as soon as he focuses on his own, he's learning focus stamina. I teach my students that as long as he's focused, as soon as he's focusing on his own, he's sitting correctly, he's getting every last one of them right. Boom, 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 boom. And at the end, he said, I did it right. I was able to do it. And he said, I did it. And he said, I'm proud of myself. I said, I'm proud of you too. So that's where we got to get kids to, feeling proud of themselves for accomplishing things, whether it's behavior, whether it's reading, whether it's being able to spell a word, whether it's being able to write and spell words that they couldn't spell before, remember their periods, whatever it is, whatever your child does not know right now and is not doing right now. I'm not going to say is not able to do. Hi, Toya. Hello, welcome. Welcome. Whatever your child is not doing right now is temporary. And whatever they need to do, whatever moms you want your child to be able to do, is possible. It's not only possible, but it's likely. And it's not only likely, it's definite when you have the right plan in place and you stay consistent and you have these high expectations, okay? So that's what needs to happen is that we need to find out exactly what is causing you to have this conversation with your child's teacher. Exactly what's causing you to have this conversation with your child's teacher. Find out what is missing academically. What didn't your child master that they need for the next grade? And what behaviors are getting in the way? What's the teacher seeing? And then you as the mom, what are you seeing? What are you seeing at home? Because a lot of the behaviors that kids display in the classroom that gets them into trouble shows up at home. It's just in a different setting. So it may look a little different, a little bit, but it's the same behaviors. And all kids have patterns of behavior, okay? So if they don't like to listen, and you tell your child to do something and they got something to say first, or they want to ask you a question first, or they want to complain about something first, all of that shows up in the classroom. But it shows up as they talk too much, they're distracted, they're unfocused, right? And now you're having an ADHD conversation. But when you understand your child has that bad habit, and they get into that habit, underneath it all is they just don't want to listen. Underneath it all, they want to control everything that they do. They don't want to follow what you're telling them to do. They think that what they want in the moment is more important than what you telling them or what you want. And you got to flip that. Okay? All right? So that's why it's important to understand the link between. So when you get all of that out of the way, the rate at which your child is going to learn and grow is amazing. Like there's no way for us to tell how fast our children will learn once all the blocks are the blocks are removed. Okay, I have another student who came in September and he couldn't read. He didn't know his sight words, writing, spelling, all those things. He had those issues, but he also had behaviors where he broke down and cried and acted out every time it was time for him to read. Why? Because he couldn't read. Okay, we have to understand that too. And then with the structure in place and working with him for a couple of months, he started reading. Well, it didn't take a couple of months, but he started reading, and he started feeling a lot of his behaviors when it was time for him to do his work just dropped off. And he was feeling more confident, and he was getting better reports in school. And then the teacher was saying that he was participating better in school. And then he got promoted in my program to the advanced group. Okay, so if that can happen in a couple of months, it took about 5 months for that to happen, for him to get the promotion. Okay, if that can happen in 5 months, when your child's teacher tells you that they have to stay back because they are not adequate for the next grade, you need to put your game changer hat on, and you need to find out exactly what they need and put a plan together and work on that until they are all the things that your teacher said that your child doesn't have, they now have. Everything your teacher said your child has not mastered is mastered. All the behaviors that are getting in the way of your child's growth and disrupting their ability to learn and to grow and to function independently without needing an aid, maybe, or not needing a lot of redirection from a teacher, all that's been addressed. What will happen when you put that strong foundation in place and they are totally equipped? Not only, even if they start in August, because it's only a couple months, or even if they start in September, and you put that in place, and that continues to be a plan, not only will they be able to function better in their current grade, but they will be able to function in the next grade, and you could be talking about, all right, he ready now? Let's make it happen. Okay? Last month, this is what we talked about. And this is what the goals were, and this is what we were working on. Have you seen the progress? Have we met our goals? All right, he ready now? Let's go. Move to the next grade. Okay, and just keep it moving. So I'm a student that I was talking about, you know, is in danger of repeating kindergarten. He's a smart kid. He's a smart kid. He's a leader. He wants to go. He wants to go lead you and tell you where to go. As far as ask me this, and I don't know this, but I know this, and let's do it like this, right? So he's a leader that just has to be channeled, because when he's supposed to listen, he don't want to listen. You see what I'm saying about that, right? But all of that energy, when it's rechanneled and I get him to focus, he's smart, so he's able to get it, and his mind moves fast. Okay, so our goal is to get the things that when I met with the teacher wrapped up that she said he needs, and we're on our way. Okay, and then when it's time for him to start school again, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be ready. So that's what I suggest you do. Don't despair, because it's temporary. If your child's teacher say that your child needs to be retained, that is what is going on right now. It is temporary. That is not, when growth is unlimited. This is why I keep saying growth is unlimited. We have no idea how fast growth is going to happen when we put the right plan in place. So this is your child's current situation in this moment, but you tell yourself that your child is not going to be, if your teacher's saying they're going to be in the 5th grade next year and they're currently in the 5th grade, then you tell yourself, not for long, okay? Not for long. We got this, all right? And you start to figure it out. So I want to thank Brittany, and I'll talk to you soon. Can't wait to talk to you again and meet your beautiful girl. Okay, and Toya for watching, and just whenever there's anything, if you're having a tough time in a moment with your child, whatever it is, understand it is temporary. And if you don't want it to be like that, moms, you have to understand, and it took me a while to understand myself, that we are the most powerful people in our children's lives. We are the most influential, and we have the most sense. I would just keep it real. We have the most sense when it comes to our babies. We know our babies the best. We understand our children, even if at the time when we're struggling, we're upset or overwhelmed by something that's going on with our kids, and we don't really feel like we do, but we really do. You tap into that mother's intuition that you have, okay? So you're the expert in your child. You know your child the best, and whatever you want for your child, that's what will happen. Whatever you want, wherever you want your child to be academically, that's what will happen. Whatever you want your child to accomplish, or how you want your child to grow as far as their choice making, that's what is going to happen. You know why? Because that's what's supposed to happen. You know what's best. So you put the right plan in place, and you stay consistent on it, and you take care of yourself for the tough times. Okay, I understand that as a mom, but understand it's your world. Okay, and if your world is followed, your lead is followed, and you take care of yourself, then your child and your whole family will be just fine. But you are the most important person, okay? You got that? Oh, my auntie is here. Hello, auntie. My Aunt Carolyn is here, y'all. My Aunt Carolyn taught me. I love words, and literacy is my specialty, okay? Helping kids who are reading, functioning below grade level, for them to read at or above grade level and function that way as well. And I also combine behavior and literacy growth strategies, because like I said, a lot of behaviors are getting in the way of our children's academic success. Okay, so you can't just do one at a time. But I want to tell you about my Aunt Carolyn. Okay, my Aunt Carolyn taught me how to spell chocolate. Right, Aunt Carolyn? Taught me how to spell chocolate and taught me how to spell tomorrow. And I remember it. I was a little girl, and I remember her, the way she was forming her mouth and the way she was making me pay attention to each part of the word. And when I teach my students, and I slow things down for them, that's exactly how I teach them. I separate each part of the word, and they have to see each part. Because when our kids see a big word, they run away. Okay, that's too big. I know I'm not going to be able to do that. So I develop strategies with each piece of the word. And I got that from my Aunt Carolyn. So shout out to you, Aunt Carolyn. Thank you so much for watching today. Love you so much. Brittany, I will be talking to you soon. Can't wait. Toya, thanks for hanging and thanks for watching, okay? And y'all have a good day. For more information on my 12 Steps to Behavior and Literacy Success tutoring and coaching program, go to growthinstitute.mykajabi.com. That's GROWTH Institute, because that's what we do here, growth, okay? That's what we focus on. .mykajabi.com, or send me a message. Click on that send message button. I love to talk to y'all. Believe in yourselves. Moms, believe in yourselves. Believe in your child, honey. And always remember that growth is unlimited.